Bob. I'm surprised Jan's not here.
Huh?
Or is she coming late?
Yeah, I told her to be here at 5:45.
Okay. All right.
We got to go through streets first.
That's right.
It's 5:30, time for the street committee. Well,
I'm not sure I can follow her this evening.
I'm looking for something, so just, you guys can talk amongst yourselves. What this legislative request.
Well, what's that one?
You want an agenda?
I have an agenda, just looking for this legislative request I have.
I can't have a winner of this game playing here and here.
Let me see.
You have an agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, let me see.
Oh, that's.
That's wow.
I just threw everything in there, I'll find it as I go. Usually I'm not like that, I got all day to get stuff ready today.
That is really from Chris.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Cletus?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go right ahead.
All right, I have a legislative request to go out for bid, for the mayor to go out for bid for street materials and water plant chemicals. It's something we have to do every year, streets. Please. That's just,
Who's on there? Are you on the committee?
Cletus and Jeff Crable.
Yeah, that's right.
Doug's not here. Cletus is right.
okay, that's,
Okay, Jeff?
that's just authorizing the mayor to go out for bid for street materials and water plant chemicals, which we do every year.
All right.
Today's 18.
13. Okay, Bob.
All right. The next thing is some guy named John Groff wanted to talk to you about vacating an alley. So
I have so much fun at these meetings. We have a request. I'm going to call up for an emergency vacation of an alley at 1288 Grandview.
Everybody needs an emergency vacation now.
I'll sign up for a vacation.
1288 Grandview is exactly halfway between Linview Road and South 2nd Street. The lady that owns it, her husband died a few years ago. She has a contract to sell the house and move back to her home state. She has a contract. When the potential purchaser's title search company did the title search on her property, they noticed that there's an alley there, which in itself is not a problem. She actually has two pieces of property that span between Grandview and Morgan. And it was her impression that both of these properties were connected. However, the title search revealed that the properties are not connected, which isn't a problem. The problem is that sometime in the past, when this house was constructed or expanded, they expanded the garage and encroached into the alley. So the lady has a contract to sell the house. She wants to move out of state, and she can't do it. So she asked, is there anything we can do? And I said, well, we can go through a vacation process. So the request is to vacate this alley that runs between her two properties. If we do that, she would get both halves of the alley, connecting the properties and making that legally her property where the house is extending now.
Any other easements or anything else done through them?
No. All the utilities are
On
on
both
Morgan.
sides?
Right.
Would so is this currently two separate lots?
It is currently two separate lots.
Would those lots need to be combined before she could sell it? Because
No.
still, the house is not all on one lot.
No, it's not unusual for a house to span two lots. It is unusual, though, to have a gap between the two lots.
Okay.
So what happened apparently is when she and her husband purchased the property, I'm guessing their title search company didn't pick this up. That's all I can think of. We went back as far as 1996 to look at area photographs, and this was like that in 1996. And it's an old house. It's actually a cinder block house with vinyl siding around it. So it was probably built 45, 50 years ago. And this could have been done that long ago. So anyway, she has a very serious dilemma. She has a contract on the house. She doesn't want to lose the contract, and she asked if we go through the vacation process. That's why I called it an emergency vacation. I have a legislative court request here for that. And
So they didn't build over the line, they purchased the property and that was existing when they purchased it.
that's correct. And for some reason someone failed to note that when a search was done. So, and what I would like to do is have you consider, there's no step that you have to follow for a vacation process. It has to be authorized through legislation. Then we create a deed, and the deed basically combines the lots. Now, we just went through a process. You're actually voting on a vacation process tonight over on South 30th Street that abuts up against to St. Leonard's Church.
Do you have to have a public hearing?
You don't have to have public hearings. The reason we did it for this one that I'm talking about now is because there was some controversy between property owners in regard to that. However, there wouldn't be here because it's the same property owner. The St. Leonard's Church group was not in favor of it, and of course the petitioner was on that particular property. It is not that case here. So you don't have to have public hearings. It should go to the Planning Commission though. I do recommend that. That's not good tonight.
Any other segments vacated on both sides?
No, just this right here.
No,
No, these are still open. These are still open.
$5 fine.
Grandview, as we discussed earlier, is just a maze of confusing errors. The only good thing is the street department doesn't have to plow them because there are no streets.
So this is the old Newark Township in here, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Jim.
Yeah. Shall file a claim against her title, owner's title policy.
Yeah,
She ought to do a lot
Or you want to add that
Yeah, I think too. To clean it up for the
on a
sale.
first reading so we can wait and be done with
if
it?
you want, well,
When do you want to help?
what I
No,
would,
it's gotta go to planning
it should
commission.
go to the planning commission. You
Okay.
could have a first reading tonight if you would like,
And refer.
and then refer it to the planning commission. The planning commission can review it this
Fast
month
track this
and
month.
get it back. Yeah, if that's all right.
We'll do a lot of combination, just do a better cleanup.
Yeah,
What the title company should have done years ago.
exactly.
And so we don't have it in written form though.
Yeah, what I told her, I told her, this could take 3 months under normal process, and I would try to accelerate it for her. So what my recommendation basically is that we just have the planning commission look at it this month, and then have a first reading, and if you want to vote on the first reading, the next council meeting after that, because it should be in writing, and I don't have the plat made yet, that we have to have made, and it'll take me a little time to do that. So if we could maybe tonight, just say we're just gonna forward it to the planning commission, get their opinion, and then have a reading on it.
Without naming a ordinance number or.
Right.
Any more questions for John? Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Get some potholes.
No, we're not gonna fix it.
No.
Really, we're having potholes popping up where we haven't had potholes pop up before, but, there it is, so if you're getting complaints, you can just let the street department know. Sometimes they're hard to find, so we'll go out and fill them up, so we're in the process of that, but hey, spring's here, right? Almost. So much spring, so just more days. The next thing is street paving, and, we'll probably come next month, with the Crest Mayor to go out for bid. I just wanted to review some of the streets that we're thinking of right now. Willow Ridge, the subdivision, has needed it for the last 3 or 4 years, or maybe even longer. And we're really looking at that pretty seriously, because that'll be the most expensive one. And some of the estimates we've had, will be $250,000 to $300,000 to do that section. So, we're looking at that one. We're looking at Beach Court, which is in Forest Hills. We did Forest Hills a few years ago. We didn't do that court for whatever reason at that time. If we're up in Willow Ridge, we would probably swing over to Beach Court. That would be very expensive. We're looking at Franklin Avenue. If you go on the north side of Hopewell Drive, Franklin, it's it's in really bad shape, that we may try to continue that to Ethel on Franklin Avenue. Some of the streets that maybe are not gonna be a top priority, but they still, might need it, depends how the money, and I'll tell you how much money we have here in a minute. Carlton, we're looking at Liberty, curving with the corporation line, that's not a very long stretch, so that could happen. There's some, paving that needs to be done at Fox Run, but that would be a mill because of the curves. And McDonald Lane, that would be a mill, the paving. And we're looking at South 30th, which would be basically from Lowe's to Dorset Mill Road. And that's even a possibility for this year. We have, from our license plate tax money, right now, we have $381,987. And that's from the license plate money that we collect and also what the county collects. We have collected 2 months of that for this year. We usually collect around $150,000 a year. So by the end of the year, we should have $506,987. So, remember I discussed it today that we are looking at really trying to do as much paving as we can this year. We're starting to fall behind a little bit, and this would help us get caught up in a few ways. And I know John is doing some OPWC money to try to get some money for that too. We're also going to be doing, I think 30th Street is this year, and I think Glenwood is next year. Yeah.
Where is Irving Wick Drive west of the railroad tracks on the radar screen?
I said that, I think. Irving Wick Drive to Thornwood Drive, which would be from the railroad tracks to Thornwood Drive.
It's on the.
Yes.
I never remember that. You sure you said it?
It's on the list.
I don't think
I didn't say it.
I don't think you did. I didn't read it. I think you did. I
I
think you skipped right over it. I think you did.
My bell tells me to just.
We can play the tape back and
see.
see.
Myself.
Can we have an instant replay to see
And
if he
we'll
said?
full of rain.
Not till later.
Really? Well, that's always been a wet place there, pretty much. The only other one that I know that's not on the list that we all know that we're gonna have to do is Green Valley Lane. And that is total curb replacement with paving. And that's really bad. But that may not be something we can do this year. And then if we spend all this money and continue not to have any capital improvement money for paving, then we start with a zero balance in 2014, which will go up to 150,000. But basically, I have to save it for 2 years so we can at least have enough to do something.
That street's worn out just from the fire and police runs, right? All the fire runs
I
and
would guess.
and police runs on that street.
Yeah.
I do burnouts.
Regular runs.
I think they've had a little bit of water problems over there too.
In regards to paving, the entrance in the back off of Lincoln,
Yeah, that's bad too.
is that ours?
Yeah.
Is that a city street or is it just Park Park?
It's a part of the park.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. And that's something I could look at, we could look at too.
That's-
But those are some of the small paving things that we'll just have to see how the money, we're gonna have to get some of the streets that are crucial, and then we go into there, but.
I realize it's a park, but with traffic regulations.
Oh, yeah, I know. But the worst thing, we go in there, we can fill the potholes.
Dirt patch
Dirt
or
patch,
something
dirt
real
patch,
good
dirt
right down
patch,
the seam.
yeah.
That seams looks really bad.
Yeah.
Just
But we used to spend $500,000 to $800,000 a year on paving. We spent zero now. So that's a good thing. At least we're gonna pay some things this year. So, and I will have legislative requests next month for the mayor to go out for bid, and we'll have estimates of what those streets will be, so we can kind of plan on that.
But McDonald Lane, right off of 30th Street, going back in there, is it really bad, or is it? Because I'm wondering if we couldn't maybe tag that onto the 30th Street paving thing, if that's all right away into there. I mean,
Yeah, we were
check with
talking
you
about
guys
how
to see.
can we tag in it? I mean, are those plans complete?
They're done. It's bid out, and we got a
Okay, so how
pre-construction
could
meeting.
we tie it in? Just, I mean, just
talk to Kikosin and kind of see, you know, I mean, kind of a deal.
We were talking about the same thing on 30th Street from Lowe's down to Dorset Mill Road. If we do that, we were
It's the right
talking about
there
doing
thing,
the same
you know.
thing.
Talk to them and to see if they, you know,
Right.
can get the same price and just separate purchase order for it or
As long
something.
as it doesn't go over the bid price, which with the bid price is really, it's like 50,000, I think. Right? So I don't think that would be 50,000. So we can do that. But the Maryland talked about that. When they start that project,
We got a meeting Friday to talk to Kikosin guys and stuff.
then when they're gonna get started.
Yeah, their schedule and stuff.
All right, we can have that on there.
So that might be something to look at, you know, to
Right.
use their prices for what they had on that, right? Because they're gonna be right there with their equipment and everything, and, you know.
Well, they would always give you a mobilization fee and stuff,
Right.
and it's like they try to do that, and wait a minute, you're already here.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, we might get, to, you know,
Right,
that way they don't have to relocate over there
Right.
from someplace else and stuff.
all right, cool. The next thing is, we will be starting to put up the signs from the CDBG money, which is Community Development Block Grant money. And those signs are street signs that, we have, and some of our stop signs that we purchased through CDBG, which, is a grant that we don't have, it's not, there's not even a match for that, so it's all basically free money, that's good. So we will start as soon as the weather breaks just a little bit, probably in April, we'll start putting those signs up. So you'll start seeing new street signs, over where Denver is, over that way a lot. Hilton, Overland, Colonial, Terrace, the poorest part of Heath. Don't say that now, Ken.
It is, look at
Oh my God.
Tim Roberts lives over there, you know, I don't.
It's just a poor community, just barely making ends meet.
I'm afraid to walk through that damn.
Yeah, at night, it's awful.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I go around.
Alright, I think that's all I have, unless somebody else has something.
Got any questions?
Cheaper for retail.
Go with.
I'm gonna reverse order real quick on here, cause the first, the number 2 will just take a second. I wanted to explain that Jan is here. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know he's excited.
There is a limit, isn't there?
Yeah.
Telling me.
We were-
Who's running
She's
this
got
meeting
one
right
thing
there?
to do.
Who's running this meeting?
Well, don't take it from a woman.
I know. I'm calling Parks, Recreation, and David Shea to order at 5:54 to 7, and welcoming Jan as our guest. So we have Tony down here, so we have lots of guests, and now we'll let Bob reverse the order, and we'll start with number 2.
Jan is here for the Blackboard Community Messaging System, so I want everybody to know that. We have retained her to do some research on that and explain that to you tonight. And the number 2 agenda is the mayor said he would talk about it a little bit, but he's not here right now. But I resigned from the Heath Community Arts Council Board, and so did the mayor, and that was from a decision that our law director made as far as a conflict of interest. What? Oh, and Dick Morrow also resigned from the board, and it was a decision that our law director made, and we made a recommendation that we resign from that board because of conflict of interest. So that has been done. We did that last Thursday, so we are no longer members of. So moving on, Jan is here.
Question about that first. Is there any concern about, I guess, you know, we're still putting money into that venture, and all the people that are connected to the city are not involved anymore? Is there any concern there?
Well, what we're going to do next month is have Jill from the David Shea House come over and give a financial report at the David Shea House. And we have a manual contract with the board, so we will be checking the performance of the board and what Jill is doing over there. So we'll keep a finger on there. And then we've also been invited to be non-voting members of the board if the mayor so desires, if that's what he wants the city to do.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions about that?
Okay, so we reversed, now we're back to number 1. And Jan's here to explain the Blackboard community messaging system that we have done some research on, and the mayor's worked on it, and Richard Day has worked on it some, and Jan, and it's something I'm really excited about, so go ahead.
Yeah, we're very excited. First of all, I was not retained to do this, I talked into it. You know how that goes. That's typical, isn't it? I was really retained to do some marketing, but I'll show you just quickly and then we'll go right into that. This is gonna come out at the end of the month, in your water bill. That's about the pool. It'll give all the information. We're gonna be doing that, this month and next month and the following month. And, Dr. Sign and I worked on our signage out there for the white fences that will go out. And he made some improvements on what I have there, and he did a great job. I appreciate that. And then this will be the postcard that will be going out to the members, because there's always a concern that they don't get if they don't get their information first, then they're not real happy campers. So we try to coordinate that. So that's enough on that issue. But I am really excited about this Blackboard Express Connect, and I think it will be a tremendous benefit for the city. I'm going to hand this out, and I'll go over it with you. And the mayor, or Bob, whoever it was, told me I only needed 12 copies. So I usually have one myself, and I'm going to hand mine out, and you can eat it. And then just hand those on down to whoever can do it. That's it. I give you one that's written on. You got one that's written on. It's okay. In connection with the marketing for the pool, the question came up: what do we do about? Is there a way that we can get emails out and make connections in with things with pool employees, and people get concerned about the weather and all these kind of issues? And I said, well, somebody told me, it might have even been Bob mentioned the fact that Granville has some kind of communication with their residents. So I called Molly, who is both the courts over there, and had a tremendous conversation with her. And she really has bent over backward to talk with us about what Granville does. And from that, she introduced the company called Blackboard Connect. And we have kind of fallen in love with that concept, I guess, and the mayor has, I think you have discussed it with some of the people, the department heads. Blackboard Connect is a community information system. As it tells you here, they've got 750 cities and towns. If you just take the government entities alone, they connect with 12.5 million people. If you're talking about everybody that's involved, you're closer to 35 million, and that's kind of a little bit of an old figure compared to what they are up to date. And I looked up some other things related to them. They are the most used notification service provider, and I will say that Granville actually did all the preliminary work because they invested 7 different companies and said that this was actually the best company that they could deal with. They have a 99.99% service uptime, which is pretty close to 100%. In 2011, and 96% client satisfaction rating, according to the recent survey that was the Gomez research. And I talked with Molly, and she says that they have no complaints. In fact, they've had nothing but compliments as a result of this particular company and the connections that they have now with City Hall. The clients currently use an average of only 2% of the contracted capacity on a daily thing that the company, in other words, the company can take in a lot more customers than they actually have. And they said that in the February 1st, 2011 major snowstorm, they sent 19 million messages in a 24-hour period. And that's pretty high. They provide reports on a monthly basis or on a daily, however that might be, whatever amount that you might want to set up, basis of the number of messages that are sent, the people read, the bad numbers, and the successful deliveries. They can actually create favorite templates, or we can create favorite templates of sending information out, and they can set up a message to go out on a specific date. So let's talk a little bit about what we've got here. Cost-wise, you have to bring the entire city into the contract, under the contract. The company does all the research. In fact, they've already done a lot of the research, and they've told us exactly what our situation is and what we would need to do. And they play in the names and the addresses, including the companies, into the database. Then we would need to edit the city's map to be sure that it includes Heath only. Now, if you live outside of the city and you're connected in with the city, you can actually participate in this kind of a program. It would depend upon how we would want to set that up. And I will, well, I'll go on with this and then I'll explain the other a little bit later on, but you can divide it up into, say for instance, that you just want certain council, or you want council to get the message. That could be a division. Each councilman could have his own territory, so that though, if you want to send a message out as a councilman to your territory, all the homes in your territory that have signed up for this, you can do it via this program. If you have a street that is closed off, you can identify the people specifically on that street. When we had the emergency of the man that, the situation where the gentleman left the rest home, we could have sent that out to everybody via this program right here. They would have had it instantaneously.
Jan, he was no gentleman.
Pardon me? What'd you say?
I said he was no gentleman.
Aww.
You're being too kind.
I'm trying to convince you.
It's like, let's say we have a water main break.
Yeah.
All right. This system would allow us to pull up on the computer what must be like a Google map or something like that. And we can literally outline the area, the street or streets where we would want to send a boil alert. And it would only notify the people that live within that area of the boil alert. And we'd be able to do it. Everybody would get it like that. Phone calls, emails, text messages. I think even they had a Facebook capacity for a Facebook post. One time, one message, boom, it goes out.
They identified, they had set up the contract based on the 2010 census. We have 4,131 units now. You can have, so if you've got several people in your household, that's still classified as one unit. So like you guys could have however many people are living in your home, you could have 2 in your home, or if you've got more, if you've got however that might be, you can have more than one, but you're still based on, that's classified as one unit. So I want to make sure that that's clear from the get-go. What he came up with here is also including the number of businesses, which is about 700 businesses in Heath. And the cost of that is shown to you here, and then also the weather alerts, so that you've got, say that you've got a major storm that's coming through. That's an automatic thing that they'll send out for you, rather than us having to do something.
If the Weather Center in Wilmington sends out a weather alert for this area, we have the ability, if we choose it with this service, to incorporate their weather alerts automatically in our system. We wouldn't have to do anything. As soon as Wilmington sends the alert out, it would notify everybody that has phone numbers or cell numbers or email addresses or whatever registered under this program. It would send everybody that message of the weather alert. We wouldn't have to do it. That's an option that we could choose to include in this.
But according to what Chris told us, that if we sign the contract before the end of this month, they will throw that in free with no charge.
Yeah.
Am I correct on that?
Yeah, and we'll talk about that
Right.
kind of toward the end.
Okay. And then they do give you constant support, unlimited online training as well. It says it takes about an hour and a half to train someone. It is very friendly user, which is always a good sign of, because you never know some people what their capabilities are. But it is a pretty friendly user, and we've had demonstrations of that online material. Richard Day and Bob and I and the mayor watched that, and then Bob and Richard and I had also watched it. Anyway, it includes unlimited use for 1 year, unlimited phone, email, text notification. You have multimodal sends. You can also attach, say we send out a notice to just about something, we can attach that right to our website, so that we not only send it out in that means, but also on the website, people can look at it. You have an open portal that creates a name and a password for an individual. If they want to go in and tell you what their email address is and these kind of things, they can do that. You have social media, as the mayor mentioned to you. You can also say that you have a digital sign out here in front of City Hall. You can actually also include that right in as part of the message opportunity. So there's a lot of different things, pagers, faxes. The weather alert is an automatic send by 3 ways. As the mayor said, you use voice, email, and text, and they do include iCalls, which is your national alert. Evidently, it's the Amber Alert. As I mentioned to you, the training is very user-friendly. We're assigned, and you can have multiple people learning the program, but their recommendation is no more than 2, and that's because of security and control. If down the road you feel that you need a 3rd person, then that person can be trained without any additional charge. Let's go back to the number of units too. You know, I asked Chris today, I said, well, you know, is this the best situation here that we can come up with? And he said that if they did it any way, other way than this, because of the GSA pricing and so forth that he's given to us, then you know, we would only be down around much less than that, and it would cost us a whole lot more. And he said also that they've already pulled all the landlines and the business listings for Heath. And what we would need to do is just basically go back through and identify all this. And he said that right now, by pulling all the landlines and the business listings, we are at a minimum of 3,786. So there's still some things out there that we don't have information about. Not everybody has a landline. Some of them have just cell phones, and so those people would have to be brought in, or have the opportunity to bring in the system. And let's see. We would be assigned a representative within 24 to 48 hours once we sign the contract, and when I asked when we could be up and running, and it would be before the pool would be open, so that would be pretty good.
You can send messages that the pool is closed.
Yeah.
We can send messages to our pool employees of what's going on. So it would be instant messaging, which would be a huge convenience for us.
Right. If you have a water that's going to be shut off at a residence, say that, you know, for some reason maybe they didn't pay the bills, or maybe there's an issue going on, you can send it directly to that one residence. In fact, some cities use that instead of, what do they call them, the drop cards or
the red tag,
whatever it is. And they say that they save money by using that system, but that's an opportunity that we have if we want to do it that way.
Linda was known to make a phone call or 2.
Is that what she
try
does?
to encourage people to pay their debt.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the send all button on that once.
Notification to citizens. You can notify all the residents of businesses about the program. We would send out Granville sent out 2 letters, and I said, well, I don't want us to have to reinvent the wheel. Can you give me copies of that? And they did. You know, we would have to tweak it obviously to address our particular program, but you show and tell and share. The citizens sign up to participate in the program at no cost to them. It's really a city service that you're giving to them, which makes it positive. I said to one person, I said, now would you like this? And I told them what all, and they said, I don't think so. And I said, why? Because I don't want to pay for it. And I said, what if it was free? Oh yeah, that'd be great. How that goes. So there you go, guys. They taught, you know, I did look up the benefits, and it is true. You reach the community when it matters. You know, when things are going on, you can reach them right away, and you build stronger relationships between the citizens and the city. And the one thing that I thought was true that Molly stated was nobody has any complain because, hey, they could have signed up for the city information, and if they didn't, that's their own problem. It's out there, just sign up for it, and they send it to them twice a month. So you have a lot of open door communication that goes on as a result of this program. But anyway, the emergencies go out in all forms, as it says here, the phone, email, we've gone through that before. Citizens will, in Granville, the citizens selected 3 areas. So we could tweak this if we wanted, but they're pretty good breakdowns, quite frankly. You have, and they could say, for instance, Debbie just wanted to pick public notices and didn't want the city information or the community events. She could pick that, or she could pick all 3, so you have an option on that. And under public notices, they send out an agenda about what's gonna take place at council, and then they do a follow-up. They don't go into all the resolutions and everything, but they do go into whatever's been passed by city council, and then of course they attach that to their website information as well. And then under the city information, those are the problems, like we talked about. If you got a tree down, like when we had the storm, whatever, well, we'd have to close down the whole city, wouldn't we? Because of that last storm. But if you had a tree down on a particular road, or you know, an issue with no electricity on an area, you can identify, like the mayor said, you can actually draw a circle around the specific thing, and it automatically takes that. You don't have to sit there like the Granville has to play all theirs in by hand, but now they've upgraded this, and it's considered as Connect 5, which will allow you to do pretty little pictures on there, and you got your own grouping
And
that you
we
need.
could have used it for the pool last year when the storm, we opened, we could have let people know about the pool being closed, but when we opened, we only really had the radio at the time. If you wanted to get instant information out, we could have sent a text to all our membership patrons and said the pool is now open, and they would have gotten that instantly, which would be really, really nice.
Yeah, and if you need to, you can subdivide as many ways as you want. The pool may have 10 different subdivisions in it. Might have just, you know, your employees, it might have the public, and it's a lot of different things that you could possibly get into to some of those things. So you said,
Question. This sounds really great, but it strikes me that its value is limited to how great of a database you can build. And I'm not sure I exactly understand how you're gonna build this database, where if you have a water line that is broken on Lueda, and there's 14 homes on Lueda, and Heath being a kind of a community that's got a bunch of old people living in it, some of these people wouldn't know a text from or email.
But it's still their phone. It could ring to their home phone if they're old fashioned, and that's what they have.
Do they have to, I mean, if we contact Mrs. Smith on Lueda and say, hey, we want you to sign up for us to be authorized to send you a message, and if she ignores that, and that comes to her in the mail, she wads that up and throws that away.
That's her loss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah,
and
but
I'm
when you have a boil alert, she
I
would
guess-
never get it.
Well, she's not gonna get the boil
through the
alert,
radio,
and-
you still could do it that way.
And then my curiosity is, this is once a year, when a year comes around, and
No, we would have all the information.
but I guess my curiosity is what percentage what percentage of coverage would we expect when we're all done with building this database? What the coverage is in Granville?
It's
You know,
pretty high.
I'm just
It's pretty high.
I'm just curious, because I'm envisioning, okay, the water line's broke.
Did she happen to give you any indication?
it's very high. It really, she didn't give me a percentage,
Yeah,
but she said it was very high.
It's really rare if you're not signed up, and if you're not signed up and then you find out people are getting this information, well, how do you get that information?
And
Well,
they want signed
I have
up.
a text, or I have my phone at home.
I mean, my
And
understanding
it
is
kinda
like if there's a
grows.
weather alert that goes out, you got a table of people from Granville sitting together, their phones all start going off. They know something is happening because all of their phones are going off at the same time to indicate, and then they go, they look,
Yeah.
and they see what it is.
What were the specifics of getting people signed
yeah,
up?
let me cover that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So here's when you see the number 4,131 units, here's where this comes from. Jan had mentioned that Blackboard has already pulled a list of those phone numbers basically that are in the phone book for Heath, Ohio. Okay, now, you know, Jan said we kind of need to, we know that there are some addresses, that the mailing address is Heath, but they're not actually within the city limits of Heath. Okay, so we need to get that information from them so that we can validate and eliminate, you know, those that we're talking about. But they will compile this database that database can automatically then be dropped into our system. It's an Excel spreadsheet file, that CSV file format that imports into our system. We can send a call out to all of those landlines to say, hey, this is a new service being offered by, you know, your Heath city government. We want to utilize this to better inform you of safety emergencies, weather emergencies, and, you know, and other things related to the city. To log in and register, blah, 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 right? You can put that in the message. As Jan mentioned, we could also, utilizing inserts in the water bill, send notifications out to all the water customers with detailed, you know, information on where to log in to register, because you would want to log in to register your cell phone numbers to indicate whether or not you want to receive emails or text messages or maybe both. You know, you want people to go out there and set this up so that it's used the way that they want to receive the information. So, and then also, you know, we could have the information right here at City Hall. You know, when someone comes to pay their water bill, hey, have you signed up for our new service? You know, and blah, blah, blah. And I think Bob's right. Over time, this is something that I don't think that we would have the maximum number of participants at day one. When we're sitting at a Friday football game and there's a storm, you know, a thunderstorm coming in, and, you know, I'm sitting with a group of 12 people, and 8 of our phones go off with this message, the other 4 are going to say, why didn't I get that? Oh, because you haven't signed up yet. So, you know,
Some will grow.
yeah, that's what I would anticipate.
I could see utilizing the sign up for new water accounts as a
That's
conduit
good, yeah.
Yeah.
that just make it part of the deal.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not even a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And for your older people, when you send a letter out, if they don't have computers, and many of them don't, these sorts of things, they can just identify the fact that they do want to receive a message by phone. So your choice is, you know, do you just want it by phone? Do you want it by phone and cell phone? Do you want it by phone, cell phone? I mean, we could go on and on, you see, so there'll be some options there. If you want all of the above, you can have all of the above. So you try to accommodate, in my mind, you try to accommodate some of those older people, you know, just return the form saying that that's the way you want it done.
So you can get all 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
You can have your landline, you can have landline phone, cell phones,
Email?
email,
Yes.
text message,
Out of
Facebook,
one house.
Twitter. Yes.
Out of one house.
Yes. So, like, if our household, me, my wife, my 2 kids, you know,
It's considered one
whatever,
unit.
yeah, it's considered one household. And they don't really, they don't necessarily police that, you know. We're much stricter policing who lives in the city for a pool membership than they would be for, you know, who's in a household, you know, for this.
And if we go over
there's
the number
there's
that,
no incentive to lie.
No.
Exactly.
no. And if we go over the number of units, they're not gonna charge us for it. Just like if we're under the
Yeah.
the number
See,
of units. for
yeah,
that
it's
year.
really it's almost where you see the dollar, you know, the $1.91 per recipient. That's just based on the number of units. Really, the price is fixed.
Yeah.
So, if you had, you know, only 100 households sign up, then it would cost almost $790 per household. If you had, you know, 8,000 households sign up, then it would be less than $1 per household. You know, I mean, the cost is really fixed. Don't get hung up on the cost per household so much. If this thing, you know, is off the charts and above this figure, that's okay. It's not a, you know, doesn't do anything to the cost.
Are there any hardware or software cost requirements for us to be able to
It's a web-based program. It's as we used to call the software when I worked in the industry, it's a rules-based, table-driven system. It can do what it can do, and it can't do what it can't do. It was very user-friendly, not customizable, so that makes the training easier. They can train via teleconference and like a WebEx, session, video conference type session, or if you absolutely need to, they will pay to send somebody here to train us. Although that's not really their model, and they are successful in training in the way that it was. It was in general, I thought it was a very impressive demonstration, not only of its system capabilities, but its ease of setup and use for us.
Are there any legal roadblocks? Say, for example, we wanted to go to the school and say, hey, can we have your telephone list?
I asked that question.
Okay.
Yes, we cannot do that.
Okay.
There is a requirement that you separate school information from. So, because I asked, is there a way that we could partner with Heath City Schools on this system? And privacy laws require that that information not be
Schools have something like this,
Yeah,
don't they?
they have their own system.
Schools have a call-all type system. Yeah.
But Mayor, don't the parents every year have to supply the information to the school? Here's my emergency numbers. Could there, if that be a checkbox on there, can we share this information with the city so you can get emergency calls through them or no? It's a thought anyways.
I don't know. I haven't thought of it. Like I said, when I thought of the idea of doing this with the school system, because I saw this would be a very useful tool for them too, they were not allowed to do that. So I didn't think about that any further.
It could be an option anyways. Another question, you talked about the pricing, so they just use that as a gauge to set your price.
Correct.
For the year. So they're gonna use the same gauge every year to set, determine our price or not?
What's at Granville do? Jan, you recall?
Theirs, I thought they said they had a 3-year contract, and I could be wrong on that, but she says it really hasn't gone up in the last 3 years, I do know that. So it must, that's pretty much the same gauge.
What are their terms compared to this offer? Any idea?
This would be a 1-year term, and the
It was fewer units, I'm
I would assume,
guessing,
yeah.
at a higher price?
Well, no, theirs was the same price per unit, but they have fewer.
Oh, wait a minute. So theirs is the $1.91 per
It's
per
pretty
unit.
close. It's right there because she talked to me about. I'm looking at my notes from Molly. You pay. She says there's no setup cost. You pay around. This is my initial conversation. Around $2 per household. That's what she's telling me. So that's pretty close to what we are.
Yeah.
This says that if the contract's signed and returned by 3/29, we get the weather alert service free.
Right.
Yeah,
And
we
maybe
found, and I apologize for this because we just found this out last week.
Okay.
Apparently, they're running
A special.
a special. If they sign up people by the end of the quarter, which the last business day of March will be the 29th. If we have signed the agreement on or before the 29th, then the first year of the weather alert service, this is the stuff that would come from Wilmington, the $2,500 for that would be free.
Molly said to me that the only phone calls, I mean, her cell phone is their main contact person. But she says the only phone calls that she gets from them are people who are going to be moving and say, well, you better drop me off of the list. She doesn't get complaints. She said she's never had the first complaint in the 3 years that they've had this up and going. And she said they've had a lot of compliments. She said it's kind of funny to be out eating and then everybody's cell phone goes off at the same time and they all know that that's coming from the city. But she says the main advantage is that if the citizens feel that they're getting some kind of a service and connecting closer to council and the city.
Village.
Yeah, well, in the village, yeah, with them, but that.
Tell them about the, I think your next
Like
thing.
Jeff has a question here. Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm reading at the top here. Company does the research, inputs the name and address into our database. So they're responsible for all the data
That's the
entry?
CSV file that I mentioned. That's the telephone book.
So who's scrubbing that? And
We would be
That's-
responsible
like
to.
cell phones and Twitter accounts
Well,
and everything else?
They can sign
That
up
would be the
themselves. though.
user.
They can,
But there's gotta be somebody in this city that's gonna be the coordinator for gathering all that
No,
information.
I like this service. I'm gonna log on to this website and, here's my phone numbers and here's my email addresses and yes, you can send me texts and,
But
Well,
if it's the
it's
case,
like
you don't have,
it's,
they don't
it's
have a
played, yeah,
computer,
then
let's
it's
say.
played in.
You've got,
You have to have a point person.
you gotta have,
You have a point person
in the city.
In the city.
That's my point. You got folks who don't even own a computer, much less have an email address
No, wait a,
or the internet.
if someone who has no access to a computer came in the door and wanted to sign up for this, we could probably, I'm sure, take the 2 minutes of time that it would take to sign them up. It would be quick and easy. However, the idea is that, like through the letter that we would send out, here's the information where you, household member, can log on to blah, 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 and register for whatever phone numbers and email addresses, and do you want to get messages from this group and not messages from that group. I mean, you can go out on the website as a recipient and really determine what do I want to get and how do I want to get it.
Is that the hour and a half you're talking about?
No,
no,
that's
training.
Blackboard Connect training our people on how to set it up.
So Joe Public doesn't spend an hour and a half?
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, no, no. All they gotta do is go on this website, and it's very easy. I mean, you know, you
If you know your
boxes.
name and phone
You
number,
click
yeah.
you click the box. It fills it in with a black dot. That means you've selected that. I mean, it's very
They actually
user
have it,
friendly to do
they
that.
actually have it
Gotta go on
divided
the
into
internet.
two areas. If you're a business,
To do
you
that,
put yours
yes.
here. If you're a resident, you put it here. It's
There's
just,
a
it's really simple.
significant segment of our population in these units that are not internet savvy, don't have a computer. They'd rather make a phone call into here and give the information into here with the phone as opposed to driving down here and providing that. Who's gonna capture all these phone calls of, yeah, I wanna sign up, but I don't have a computer, I don't have internet, and I don't wanna come down to City Hall to do this, but I'd still like the service.
They should return a form because that's permission.
And the forms are gonna be.
We would be that's the letter that you're sending out. Molly sent out
Incorporate
2
that.
letters. And that way everybody has the opportunity of notification. And if you don't have a computer, then you just say, sign the form and say this is what I want and give us the
Just
information.
trying to come up with all the what-if scenarios that fit a significant amount of the population.
Right.
Well, I mean, but also don't sell the more don't sell the older population short either. I mean, when my mom's getting an iPad and my nephew's showing her how to set it up and use it and she's running with it,
I mean, Mom
There's-
has a cell phone. She can text. That she's 82.
But you gotta sign up, being on the internet. You gotta have a computer. You can have a cell phone. That doesn't mean if you're 75 years old, you got a computer.
I think if you want it bad enough, come down and sign up, and this is where you got to do it. I mean, you got to put a little bit of effort into it, don't you?
I don't know.
So we're looking.
I mean, if they don't want to do it, they'll
$9,000
just be sent out. That's all.
You're looking at.
with the weather service, and again, that's an option. We could add that option, or we could choose to not have that option. If we had the weather alert service option, we'd be looking, well, this year it would be $11,347. Granville's experience is that their costs has been steady. The term of the agreement would be for 1 year. If this is something, and we wanted to introduce this, to you. I have a copy of the agreement and basically the sales sheet, and I can get those for you so that you can look at those.
Here, if you
Since,
want, pass it around.
oh, did you bring copies of them?
I brought one, I can go
One?
make copies.
Okay.
of.
So are you looking for a straw vote at this point for future passage of
Well,
ordinance, or what are you looking for?
Here's what we would need. Here's what we would need to do. If you guys think that this is something worth investing in, my recommendation would be that we have a special council meeting on Monday after John Geller's committee, so that we can authorize, appropriate and authorize me to enter into the agreement. Because I think it would be worthwhile to get that $2,500 discount on 1 year of the weather service. If for no other reason, then we have a free year of trying that system with the weather service to see whether or not it's something that we want to continue as an option, moving forward in future years. But we don't have to do that. We wouldn't have to approve it right away. Of course, then if we do choose to have the weather alert option, we would have to pay for it for the first year. Ever since becoming mayor, I have been trying to find better, more effective ways for us to communicate with the residents in a 21st century world. This system is the most robust that I've seen come across my desk. I can envision a hundred different kinds of uses for a tool like this. We no longer could, just as it relates to the work that we do in this room, nobody could anymore say, why didn't I know about that? Because we would be able to email them, text message them, here's when our meetings are for the month of whatever, here's what's on the agenda for this council night. We could, send them a link to the city's webpage that has the ordinances, listed. We could notify them, as Granville does afterward, the action taken on ordinances. There'd be no more excuses as to why somebody doesn't know what we do as Heath City government. And that just is a small segment of what the total usage of a tool like this could be. I think of police and fire. Man, how powerful would it be to be able to send a message of any sort out to...
Well, I use the example of a missing child today, and if you've ever gone through the anxiety of having a child missing and the limited resources we have to get the word out, whether it be counting on the media to do it for you, you're talking maybe up to hours to get the word out when minutes count. And most of our missing children are typically found at a neighbor's house, playing with their kids in the backyard. But there's probably an hour of resources and anxiety that could have been, lessened by a robotic phone call.
So a localized Amber Alert, is that what you're?
Yes,
Yes,
because
Are there criteria for when
No.
you can actually call a localized Amber Alert? as
well, we
opposed to
just
statewide?
we can't call it an Amber Alert.
Okay, we call it
child.
Yeah. Now, we do actually have, if we have a missing child, we belong to the Missing Children's Clearinghouse, and they have a system that's nationwide. But we still have, we have much less criteria to follow. It's just a matter of complete information has to be gathered, and then much the same as this system, they can draw a circumference around whatever area we tell them, and it'll call every telephone, every known telephone in that area. But with the proliferation of cell phones and smartphones and other devices, to count on hard lines, I think is going by the wayside.
And this system stores every message that goes out.
And we would be able to collect data back to see, like on a phone call, how many messages were left, how many times did they pick up. I want to say it even tells you how long they listened or something. It was.
They'll try a phone number 3 times too. Like
3 times, then
So
they'll
we can
let
track
it go
them.
3 times again.
The
and then
effectiveness.
notify
If
you
they
if
say
there's
we
no-
didn't get the call, we can prove them otherwise.
yeah.
Look, we know
We can do that with our paging system.
with this system.
Couple questions. If it's a year contract, is it, if we sign it, let's say the March 29th, then we go until March 29th the next year and stuff, so it's not like that
Not
the
counting.
year, not the year where the service ends in January and something. Okay, I just want to be sure that. The other thing is, how do the people that want to send the messages, okay? Bob wants to send out about the pool's reopened or something, or the chief wants to say there's an elderly man missing on such and such, or the water department wants to say that there's a water leak on this road, or the street department wants to. Do they have? Is there umpteen people in the city that has permission, or are you going to have to call somebody and then that person types in, logs in, and able to send the message?
That's a good question.
You know, because
Granville handles it one way. I would probably handle it a different way. All right. Granville handles it. They have basically one gatekeeper, okay, maybe 2. I asked this question during the presentation. Can I, as the system administrator, assign privileges to another user that allows them to send messages for only a segment of the groups that I've created? And the answer was yes.
okay.
So we could have 1 or 2 system administrators, okay, master administrators. But I could assign, say, each department head as a user that has the privileges assigned to them as a user of sending messages out for these 2 groups, but not these other 8 groups or whatever, so that you would have water, wastewater, only sending messages for water, wastewater. You would have streets and parks only. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can assign privileges to users that allow them to send messages for certain groups while not sending messages for other groups, which is a way of, allowing a department to be nimble enough to get the information out quickly. The system can be set up to do that.
And Molly will not take any messages by phone. She wants you to send her a text, and that's how she sends it out, because that way you've got it right.
So you
Basically,
copy
she's
the
on
face of everything.
24/7.
Yeah, she is. She's on 24/7. Everything
She
goes
won't
through
be
her,
here.
and then the moment she gets that, it's sent
Yeah.
right out.
Well, but if she has her cell phone and has the ability to get messages, she can take that message, go on the internet on her cell phone, and go on the site and plug it in, and boom,
Florida.
away you
While she's
go.
on the beach in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep, she's
So,
in Florida.
so we will have contacts,
Well-
because most of the contact or D
Go ahead, Ned. That's yours.
will probably come either A on the weekend or B after
Yeah.
everything's closed.
Yeah.
We sign up for this and get the discount, but how many months before we really get to use it?
It would just be however long it takes us to get the system set up and get the word out to people that we have it.
And it could be, I mean, you can get it started and then keep adding parts to it as well.
Do you recall, David, my understanding of the term is that it would begin with signing of the agreement.
Yeah.
Not based on when we go, quote unquote, live on the system. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay.
But he said again that
That's your question.
you'd probably be up and running before the pool opens, so you've got a couple of months here. That's pretty quick for a new system. Depends on.
So you essentially start with the database of the listed telephone book, whatever is available there, and then you build your database from there.
Yep. They help us with our reach through that, those numbers that would be in the database. But through, the letter and whatnot, I mean, that's how we can broaden our reach of this.
I wonder, it'd be interesting to know, okay, we got 4,131 units. And it'd be interesting to, what do you expect at the end of the first year? You expect to have 2,000 units live? You expect to have 1,500? You expect to have 3,000? Wonder what the expectations should be if we've got, these are housing units and business units, I'm assuming.
That's correct.
And wonder what a reasonable expectation would be of what percentage of your number of units.
I tell you, Keith, I know the answer to some of my stuff I'm going to tell you is proprietary to Delta Beerman. We first started out trying to get emails of every customer, so we get advertised to it. And then we had customers come in with a coupon. So I got this off my internet. Boom! Our customer clientele list skyrocketed again because everybody else wants those coupons. And then when you got the text message and these girls come up, hold their cell phone there, and I scan the coupon on the cell phone, you'd be surprised how many people jumped on that.
Yeah.
So what he was saying to her was, it's going to grow,
Yeah, I agree with you that it's something will grow, but I'm just wondering, what are you buying the first year? I guess you're buying a beginning.
I guess it depends on how many actions you have. Like if we was to have a flood or a kid was get lost and a lot of people got involved with it, I think you'd have a big spurt right then, but if everything's cool and quiet, it might be slower.
Well, I think a lot of it too, Cletus and Heath, is how diligent are you in going after this?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you want to sit back and just say, well, I'll just start the program and put a general announcement, then that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But to me, if you're going to enter into this, we need to get the letters out.
A point person to
get the communication
go
out.
after this.
Get the
I mean,
communication out.
what was it? Just last week, Doug called me and told me that he had taken that update, letter and delivered it to every door in the third ward, and that was, walking and knocking.
That's right. I know, I got one.
So, I mean, there's, I think Jan's right, some of it is gonna be based on how effective are we and
I think Becky and her husband, come in and told us, that a lot of people had contacted them and wanted us to be more transparent. And I think, you're
It's your opportunity.
going to surprise her.
And we have already identified, Keith, if we know who receives the water bills, and then I talked with Linda about, or whoever, about the, where you're gonna run into your trouble but don't have the water bills, are those areas such as your condos and your apartment buildings where your residents don't pay the water bill. So we've identified who those are, or where they are, and we have to go after those in a different way. The water bill can handle some, but you gotta figure out who lives here and get that out there. So, you're gonna have to have some mass mailings that are gonna have to go out.
See, one of the things that, I know that Linda B has accumulated email addresses for water bills.
Yep.
And there's a way that I'm sure she can load that to an Excel.
We can work together on
And
that sort of thing.
you could give that information to this company and they could shoot a mass.
They won't do
email.
it, we would do We have to communicate.
Okay,
They
so,
do the polling.
so we would communicate a mass email that maybe you've automatically signed you up for this service and it does this, 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 and give them an opportunity to unsubscribe,
Right,
I suppose. I don't know.
yeah,
But
you
you
want
take,
it, you want
you
that.
take one Saturday at this Oklahoma baseball down here, Holback Park. How many hundreds are gonna be down there? Young people that really spreads the information.
Sure, but the important thing is, I think, is their point person that if somebody comes in and says, here's the sheet you sent me in the mail, and hands it to Denise at the window, what does she do with that? And who does she give it to?
Give it to the mayor.
Well,
Tim has a question down here, his arm's about to fall.
You okay?
Yeah. I don't know why I got thinking of it. When Bob said something about the community events thing, it says example July 2nd. Okay? Now that's kind of a city function / not city function or whatever. But would we have to set up some kind of policy? In other words, if the Heath Lions wanted to send out a mass thing saying Easter egg hunt at 12 noon at Geller Park,
Do that.
you know, that's
Non-profit.
okay,
Answer your
non-profit.
question.
Then if I say, you know, Heath or Toma's having their da-da-da, or someone's having their fish fry or something, I mean, eventually we get to the point, does people's phone go off because everybody under the sun is all saying, I want to advertise this, I'm having a garage sale on Saturday at my house.
But then as a user, if you
Yeah.
don't want those messages, you can go into the system and deselect that particular
But
Yeah, but
group.
if it gets
So that,
crazy.
well, that's what I'm saying. So then if you think it's crazy, and I don't think it's crazy, then you as a user can go in and deselect that group
Yeah. But I
that
don't
you're
think
getting
I-
the message
yeah.
from.
But I think
depends on
someone
how
has
important
to,
you wanna feel.
yeah,
How many times your cell phone wants to go off?
She said,
Well,
I have
let me
Molly.
give you the answer
Yeah.
on that, just a moment, what they do, okay, I think this
Yeah.
will help.
okay.
They do not send any messages or notices out for profit organizations, profit. They do not send messages out for private individuals.
Okay.
But they do send messages for their nonprofit organizations. The schools have their own means of notification, and they only send it if it is requested in case of an emergency by the school. And that's their policy. So
That's
think
what I'm just saying, have a
pretty good.
policy. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, if you didn't have a policy,
No,
someone
no, you didn't.
says, "Hey, I'm going to have a garage sale this Saturday. Can you send that out to everybody? You know, I'm having a garage sale." And you know, stuff.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, "Well, there's no policy against it." And someone goes, "Okay."
And I think
You know.
Granville's policy is pretty
Yeah.
clean. I
Yeah.
mean, it really
Yeah.
is, because you wanna work with your nonprofit
She
organizations.
seemed very non-stressed
Oh,
about
yeah.
the job
I
that
mean,
she
she
had to
really
do.
was.
Yeah.
She
She's
did not
sold
seem
on it. I mean,
stressful
she sells
at
you
all.
on it.
Yeah.
I don't really spend a whole lot of time doing it.
Do we have somebody like that for Heath?
We have an idea.
That was my question.
You know what, Bob?
10 minutes ago.
Bob, doing?
Who's the
Not
point
stressed,
person?
Bob.
You got it down to department, you got it departmentalized, but
You don't want the person to see the
almost
video.
seems like you gotta have one general
I would
administrator.
say Jenna.
She got the capacity to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Especially as this thing gets rolling.
But Jenna's got to a
Well, I
degree
thought of that other one
the
between. Go ahead,
website,
that's your question.
but that website needs jazzed up.
I
It's
have another
small
question for the whole parks
and static,
department other than that.
but she doesn't have the time to do that. You almost need, my thought is, you almost need a creative person to do both of those, to make them both interesting, because as was discussed here, what's gonna sell this thing is people talking about it. Because they don't talk about our website, because it looks the same today as it did a year ago, with almost the same information.
Well, this service though is just messages. And
Well,
that's
our website should be that too. I don't know. Maybe it's apples and oranges, but to me it's somewhat the same.
so I know that we have limited funds, to say the least, to try to do things with. And so we need to prioritize how we spend our money. And this is something new. I guess what I'm asking council is this tool worth the investment, the dollar investment that it would take? that's the question.
The question is, can we find $9,000? You know, I can say it's a good idea, but do we have the $9,000 somewhere?
We would have to appropriate the money. It's not in the budget. This wasn't, this wasn't on our radar, obviously, when we were putting together the budget.
Chief, I wonder how much money you spent when that attempted murder suspect wandered off, and what the effect would have been if everybody had known about that right away.
Yeah, there was dollars attached to it because we called out, all hands on deck, and
Yeah, and you might have done that anyway, even if you had this.
Yeah.
You probably would, I guess.
yeah. But
Wouldn't save anything there. Might have caught him quicker though.
might have, because until the news came on,
Colleges have something like this when there's an active shooter or
Sure.
some suspicion of that. They send a text to every student that's got a cell phone. So,
That's if somebody's gonna cover the off hours from Jenna's back, like a dispatcher.
Well, we can't make everybody,
I'm saying everybody,
privileges, but,
You need
You know,
more than one.
dispatchers only work, 8-hour shifts?
yes.
So, we have 6 different dispatchers.
I think the issue you have here is, do you want the program or don't you? Then you work out the logistics.
I agree.
I think we're getting sidetracked on the logistics when you need to know, because if you don't want the program, then you're just wasting your time. That can be figured out once the decision is made. You do or don't want to invest the funds.
If we can find the money, it's money well spent right there.
I would agree.
And we could probably do it within the capital improvement fund. Right?
It's not really a capital improvement. It's nothing tangible there. It's not, you can't look at it or.
At face value, it looks like a really good deal. I don't think you know until you go into it and try it. It's a gamble.
Well, and
Well, that
I'm
has to be
appreciative
gamble.
to Jan for your efforts as far as doing such great homework on this whole thing, both for the presentation that we had a week or so ago, and then also for tonight, and also to the Village of Granville for sharing so much information with Jan as far as how they utilize it.
And the program that you would be buying is more current than Granville's programs.
I was in Granville, and I knew someone who, they got a message one time, and they just, the information tells them so much, and they go, it's invaluable that I get this information instantly, and everyone that I ever talked to loved it. They like getting that instant information.
I mean, this first year, it looks like it's almost $9,000. Then next year, is it another 1-year term, or do they have like
Yeah.
3 and 5-year terms, or
No.
anything like that? Just everything's a 1 year.
It's
Yeah,
1 year.
1 year
terms.
And
And
they
again,
give
the
you, like, so many
reason
days
why
ahead of
it's
time
the
to let you
88
know.
whatever is that's if I were to sign the agreement on or before March 29th. Because that $2,500 for the weather alert service would be free for the first year.
So it goes up $2,500.
Yeah, that's a freebie for the first year.
So after this, it'll be close to 11 or 12,000 every year from here on out.
So,
Correct.
But if you don't want the weather service, you don't get it.
Yeah, that's an option. You don't have to have it.
And you can sign up for it through other outlets and get it.
oh. So wouldn't you just, at this point, create legislation, take it to the appropriate committee and?
This is the committee.
This is the committee.
I can do legislative requests right now, and then you could take it through finance, and then you could have a special council meeting after
Next Monday.
next Monday night to read it, pass and waive it. And so we can get the.
And then I can sign it next week.
I think we definitely should try to get the free $2,500 worth of services if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna get it pushed through and greatly enhance communication options, because we said, our website's never gonna be current enough to provide information to the citizens.
Well, a website is, you put information, a website doesn't go out and touch.
Right.
You know, it's not what it's,
It has to be invited.
I think you need to write quick, Bob.
Do that?
I think you need to write quick so I can get it on the
Well,
agenda.
what's the,
You got a blank one?
What's the dollar amount?
884734.
Is that gonna be exact? You want to say not
Well,
to
yeah,
exceed,
that's
or
what's on the,
is that what's on the contract you have?
Not a penny
No,
less,
there's a
not a penny
the
contract.
mayor
more.
has the contract.
Mayor's
Right?
8847.34.
Right. I'll write the number in here. You can fill out the rest.
Oh, I already got one. Oh, you're doing the finance thing?
No.
No, he's doing a legislative request.
Oh, he is?
I put the dollar figure in there.
You okay with this, Brian?
Jan, do you have their website?
Yes, I do. Let's see if I can. I just pull up blackboardconnect.com.
Okay.
That's really all you need.
Is there anyone else here? I won't be here next Monday. Is there anyone else that won't be here next Monday? Be two of us missing, so just,
There has to be 5
you're
of
gonna
you
have
here.
to, you're gonna have to make sure that Doug's here.
Need 5 to waive the second.
Okay.
Not gonna be here.
I'm gonna call tonight to find out.
Now, the other possibility is if you had the meeting, had a special meeting like at 5 on Monday, I possibly could make that.
At
But I can't have it after.
5 p.m.
Yeah.
on Monday? So before John's committee?
If you had it before, I might be able to make it. 5:15.
It's a 5-minute meeting. I mean,
If it's a 5, I mean, I might.
What, where,
5:25. You know.
where you headed?
I'm catching a plane.
Oh, where? What's on the plane?
Headed to the airport.
What's the contract say, the official name of the company? The Blackboard Connect?
Blackboard Connect.
What time do you have to be on the road?
I've got an 8 o'clock flight.
Out of Columbus?
Yeah.
The way you
geez.
drive?
You can be at the committee.
Oh, on.
Hear that, chief? Did you hear
Yeah, I'll be
that?
waiting on him.
You better be.
Was that to give him a police escort?
As far as he knows.
If not, I get one free.
If you have to cancel the special meeting any other time,
What?
if you had it another day or a different time, I could make that, but I'm leaving like at noon on Monday, I have to go.
5:20.
Yeah, let's shoot like 5:15.
5:15, 5:20, something like that.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me over.
Sure, thanks. Mm-hmm. Some beef before the meeting or something?
I'm going to get a drink. Oh, you televise this one too. Drink the water.
Water. I'm well tonight, right?
All right, so have we covered that one, Bob? Have we covered that one?
Yep, we're good. Ready to go?
And the other thing on Bob's agenda, I just wanted to inform council, both Bob and I on Thursday resigned from as voting members of the board for the Heath Community Arts Council. I believe Dick had resigned maybe a few weeks prior. And this is simply from advice received from David that that we should not be voting members of the Arts Council board. So just wanted to.
So there was nothing that triggered this other than just.
Well, you know, when you look at the management contract that the city has entered into with the Arts Council, where there are specific services that the city is contracting to receive from the Arts Council, it seems hard to be, as mayor, be one who would evaluate whether or not the city is receiving those services, while at the same time being a voting member of the Arts Council Board. So.
It doesn't diminish our oversight ability, all the finances and all the other
No,
operations.
as a matter of fact, Jill Ladrick, who is the executive director, this week I will send to her an invitation requesting that she come to Bob's next committee meeting in April to discuss the finances and the programming and, you know, the way that Jan, you know, used to do. Not as, I'm not saying as well as Jan used to do, just the way that Jan used to do.
Bad, isn't it? Really bad.
Okay, did we have anything else from Parks Rec and David Shea?
One quick thing.
Yes.
Bob said that the full rates will go into effect, new rates, what'd you say, April 30th? Or May 1st?
No, the new rates are already in effect, but the discount
Discount.
will end
Yeah.
April 30th.
Grandview.
Right. So if you wanna be a tight one, like you say, that much.
Street materials.
We'll get it out, but-
He didn't give me that, so I
Okay, nothing else, we'll adjourn at 6:55.
So that's gonna be, that's why we're sending it.
That's
We need 5 minutes and then we'll hit finances.
Okay, what'd you say?
I'm really
5
gonna
minutes.
let you retire.
Jan, thanks for coming.
Yeah, the rest of it I do
All
conference.
right.
Appreciate it.
I enjoy it.
I won't be long.
Get your basketball things filled up.
Jan was
Hand it
looking
back
for
here.
pictures too.
I see one coming my way.
Because he's making new signs for her, and she's gonna look
Don't
up
show that to
more
Deb.
pictures that might come from
I
gardens
would,
around
because
here.
that's
These aren't really garden pictures, these are all from online.
$10
I
on
Tim, I
tried
can
to
get mine
work with a
Wednesday,
couple
right?
people with their picture work. They
Well,
to use.
the problem with doing
They
that,
couldn't blow them up.
because you give it to me Wednesday, that means Thursday morning I'm gonna have to.
Pictures, so
Punch it in.
the ones
Oh,
I
I'll
found
work with the
online, I
system.
had to
All right,
find
I'll get
ones
it over
that
to you
were
tomorrow.
If you can get it to me
20-some
tomorrow.
hundred
I can't remember the
pixelates
facts on
by
it.
something,
It's
so
either
that he
59,
could
I
blow
think
them up,
5911.
so.
Okay.
But I think
So
it's
she was gonna look for some
349
too, she told
For
me.
some reason, I'm
I
drawing a
still
blank,
want
that's
to delay
really
so
right.
much more.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
You know, the park's already paid.
Or you could,
Right.
scan,
How's John doing?
He's
email me
fine.
to me.
That's what I'll do.
So-
Main thing
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you though was,
Well, I suppose the top,
How many
top
different
team is the
prints?
highest seed.
They're the one, yeah, one and then two's at the
because of the
bottom.
banners that we
And then they go in.
do you want the
Missouri,
same
that's a
print on the
8,
back of the
9.
other side? That's
Yeah.
something we need to really kind of hash
Just print
out.
this out.
Yeah, what I'd
When
like
you
to
do it by
do
computer, it tells you, you print out a
Is,
blank.
you
when
know,
it
I'd like to
doesn't.
have,
I guess.
I don't like, I would like to have no
I'm
repeats, to
doing
be
the
honest with you.
Tim Kelly.
Okay.
And in other words, this would be
I just saved
one,
$5.
and then the opposite
That-
side would be
fill one
different, like that, like just
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
So we would
Nick, you
need
wanna fill one out? Feel lucky?
basically 6
I have not, I have
pages
not
like
watched
this
the
with
first game
2 and
this
2.
year.
Well, then you
Okay.
probably
Don't have a
win.
clue.
That's what we're looking at.
Just flip a coin. Just go down, flip a coin. Heads at the
I'll
top,
see if,
tails at the bottom.
if
Team. Fill it
they
out.
allow or you
You probably
guys
got
allow
as
him to
much
do
chance as
something like
anybody.
this. We can do this.
And this is
and
based
then
on
the
seeding, too.
backside
I mean, you
do
get
the
the
same
seed
thing
points
for
and
his,
Well, that'd be
If they win.
fine, yeah.
you know, and then it
You
would
get
be
more
one
points.
set of
If they
banners,
lower,
but,
how you wanna say it?
Matter of fact, what I'm gonna do is, he sits next to
The
me
worse the
tonight, I'm
team is, if they
gonna
win, you
kinda
get
show
more
him.
points.
yeah,
I'm gonna put
yeah.
it out here like
He's-
this.
Yeah, he's
Get it.
actually seen it, but he doesn't know that you're, he knows you need to talk to him about it.
All right.
I'm just kidding. If you sign up online, and then we paid 3 places, 70,
We could put
20,
some
10.
sponsors.
70% to the winner, 20% to second place, 10% to third place. 3 winners. You get 1 point for the first round, 2 for the second, 4, 8, 16. You want one? Well, you just,
He or we should go after anyway.
well, you can only win once.
Okay.
We play
I
out
wanted
first,
you to
second,
know,
third place.
we are working on it. He's been smooth lately.
You don't need to know anything, do you, Keith? You just fill in, you just write in names. You don't have to know about this, you just fill in names.
Give away money.
It's free money to somebody.
Yes, we are. We know that.
It's a
I've had
donation.
my one streak, I won one last year.
You can go online, Bob, if you do this online, and you can click like the what people are picking, you know, the percent, and it'll fill it out based on that.
Oh,
You can
really?
click all the number one, like the best go that way. You can click on like other people, you can click on theirs and have to fill out. So I did that, I said, give me the average everybody, I clicked on it, and I looked and I said, I ain't believing that, so I started switching them after that. But it filled it out quick for me, you know what I mean?
I watched Belmont play. They're good. Belmont beat that.
Did you want that copy?
You don't have to be here.
Do you want them?
No, thanks.
We'll just, oh, I was gonna say I can.
It's not that big of a deal.
If you want anything, I've got it.
Okay. That's fair enough.
You should know.
Insinuating.
God, Ohio State, they could lose at any time
Grandson's
against
birthday party.
anyone.
Or they could win at any time. You never know.
Is Aaron Kraft on? Is Aaron Kraft off?
I don't think that this
They're gonna win. They're gonna win the whole shooting match if you listen to the Ohio State favorite people. Oh yeah, you hear them on the radio. Oh yeah, we're 8 in a row. We're gonna win it all. 6 more games.
She needs more time.
This is a weaker team than we've had for
Have
a
they
while.
watched the whole season? I mean,
It
it's.
don't matter. It's the hot team right now. They won 8 in a row. They're the hot team. They gotta go with it, man.
Hottest team.
You gotta go with them, man.
Or if you listen to Shaq, no, not Shaq,
Barkley.
Charles Barkley.
they won't get out of the first game.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the Big Ten at all.
No, he's not a
Tonight
big
about
fan.
it, and what they wanna, they're gonna-
Hey,
Massey's on.
bring a piece of equipment.
Well, if you're smart, you either fill out the Big Ten going all the way as far as they can, or fill them out going nowhere all the way. And it'll be hot or cold.
on at first glance.
Are they good as they think? Then they'll go all the way. If they're not,
19, summer of
Picked him
'69.
up Saturday from State Farm. So
There you
that's
go,
how
Brian
tall
Adams.
he stands.
That's
9 foot
Terry
tall,
Brown.
25.
Me.
That's my son.
Wow.
They just didn't want it anymore.
I
No,
was lifeguard at Dillon Dam
You already
State
paid
Park.
for
So
it.
Brown is a bear.
Had a good 10, I'll say that.
let's wait. Pay me
Wow.
next week or
But
so.
this is what age does to you.
Once you fill them out, if you send them to me, however many you send,
Just say-
you can pay. Yeah, just bring me the money. Couple weeks or whatever. I'm kidding. No, I can track it down.
69.
Ways. You like water pressure out there, don't you, at your place? I know somebody's got a key that can shut that thing off.
Oh, I got heat cell batteries. Where's that?
And that's what's in that.
$2,600
Very large.
It's just been a lot of fun, so I
We go do all
told my
the
husband to make sure I got plenty
I have
of
deep cell batteries.
It was kind of
Need somebody to help
Guy
spend your money.
security guard help.
It is?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Anyway, boys on my car.
Terry Brown.
He was
All right.
on the warehouse.
Got it. What's your?
Did anyone get a?
Summer of 1969, I was 18.
We're taking resumes for 2 more.
Did you guys pass out the agenda?
No,
The
they're.
party.
This side's got it.
Cheerleader, not a
Someone got
cheerleader.
thrown one thrown down here. I grabbed it.
Mostly cheerleading.
Got punched
We're a
with it.
cheerleader. You were the guy that came.
I'll be there tomorrow. If I'm not there, just someone, anyone there to say, hey, get them.
We got one. I'm only got one.
Brian may have to punch me brainer on Wednesday.
Yes. Dwayne made that in '99.
You're kidding.
We just picked him up Saturday. We're gonna put a new coat,
We got everybody here?
new shirt, and new logo on him.
Yeah.
1999.
Yeah, he's 9 foot tall.
14 years old.
Yeah, he's 9 foot tall. Can you tell there by our garage
Yeah,
door?
now, you know, when you do
I'm trying to
that,
think if I want to go to.
it almost looks like that's a toy house behind it. And that's like a little child figure.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, we picked him up Saturday. Let's see how dirty his shirt is.
Oh, yeah.
We took a couple letters off, but put him in the back of my son's truck. I thought it was kind of cool because my son was only 10 when he made it.
Just all over.
I got pictures of him with Dwayne, and he's standing underneath it. Now he's, this was him that helped him pick it up. So it's,
Well, I mean,
Can't
yeah.
see now, he's looking down on
right.
If you look on there, it's, no, okay.
No.
I can probably tell you.
Not yet.
If I forget.
Yes.
Lou Malika.
Yeah, he's not there yet.
It's a long agenda
Carolyn
tonight.
Doyle, so
Yeah.
But maybe they can move quick.
Dan Duff,
Yeah, you think?
Yeah,
Nancy Smith.
Doubtful, but
yeah, I know it.
The bills usually don't take all that long.
No.
The ordinances.
Mark Shea. And, Johnson, we're from the credit union. What's his first name?
Jim
Jim Johnson. That's the 7. Is that 7? That's might have had that many at one time, but some of them have left. I think Reisner was on there, Janet Reisner was on there, a few of them left, we had a replacement. And then we had us three, and that was 10, so they're down to 7.
Alright, okay, thanks. Go ahead.
You gonna go fast, Jeff?
We ready?
I am.
7:04. Everybody got an agenda?
Yep.
We've got 2 additions, so I got a total of 9 here. The first one, appropriate $1,145 for a canine fight suit. We've had this one before.
It's a redo.
It's a rerun, isn't it?
Yes, it was appropriated last year. They did spend the money.
Do we need, as we go through these, tell me if we need a waiver or anything like that, so you'll shorten up our caucus time too, or I can just wait till caucus to do it, I guess.
Brian, do you know?
Never mind, I'll do it at
ask
caucus
Chief.
time.
I'll have to ask Chief Shepherd, I don't remember, I don't recall.
I remember he didn't say
Okay.
maybe one of his money or something, but.
Devin Cletus, any comments, questions on this? We got thumbs up on this one, okay. Second item, 2641 for 4 deep cell batteries for the generator backup system and include a service contract. This is with EC Power, a vendor that specializes in the UPS for the automatic generator used by the police department
That's the one.
out of Brian, your committee. Comments?
None? I'm okay with it.
Anything else to add?
Thank you.
Committee? Third item, $5,000 for repair of the race car trailer and promotional materials associated with Beat the Heat. Literature, posters, trinkets for children used in concert with the Beat the Heat program, our one and only anti-drunk driving program.
That money's coming out of some other place, right?
Coming out of the OVI Education Fund.
Coming out of the OVI Education Fund. Okay? General fund expenditure. Fourth item, $500 for police training line item shortage. For police training.
That's the training for the lockdowns and how to manage the kids at the schools that we discussed in the last committee.
Alice training. We did, however, commit to provide Alice training to the school. Sergeant Ream is attending instructor school. Also, an officer is being ordered to participate in training as part of the discipline process. Any other comments? Brian, you guys okay?
Yes.
Fifth item, $25.03 within DARE to materials and supplies, and transfer $700 DARE materials and supplies. Officer Perry Brocious has deemed this to be his last year of DARE instruction employment as part-time officer. Instructional videos cover a variety of topics typically addressed by Perry. So basically, we're trying to do the best we can to replace Perry with videos. Training. Comments, Brian? Nothing else?
One sec, where'd that come? I'm not seeing that number, does it? One to appropriate $3,000 from within the data fund to purchase instructional videos, and now we're got a different number here, so who's changed this? I didn't sign that. I didn't sign that.
Linda Richards changed that. She had to change it around. He was trying to appropriate more money than there was.
That's a good trick.
Well, and Linda doesn't put up with that.
Yeah.
So she asked me if it was okay to have it appropriate less to make it. We want to zero out the DARE fund.
That's all that's in the fund currently?
Yeah.
So Chief had a different number than you had?
Yes.
And you guys are right?
Yes.
So that's why we got the oddball $25.03.
That's right.
Does the chief know?
Does the chief notice that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
He's been apprised of this. This
Yes.
is not a surprise.
This is not a surprise.
Okay.
Any other comments?
None.
We're going over these. Sixth item, waive the bidding procedure and dispose of 7 mobile data terminals for the police department through an online auction. Comments? Brian, any other comments on this?
Nothing, unless anybody has questions.
Committee? 7th item, lot combination for Grandview Avenue. Basically, we're vacating the alley we talked about earlier, 1288 Grandview Avenue. We're going to announce that this evening, right? And move it on to planning commission. Any other comments? Cletus, Deb? New to the list, authorize the mayor to go out for bid for street materials and water plant chemicals. Y'all have presented that this evening. Any other comments? Cletus, you're wearing two hats on this one. You okay on that? Last item, appropriate $8,847 within the general fund, enter into a contract with Blackboard Connect by March 29th, in order to get the free weather alert service. Deb, other comments? Anything else for finance, Auditor Alexander? Anything else, committee? Adjourned at 7:10.
Brian was gonna go check with the chief about whether any of those ordinances need to be waived. We once they didn't waive them the first, so, while we're waiting on that. Invocation and who's the invocation tonight? We'll need to excuse Mr. Heffley. Crew, okay,
Okay.
I'll excuse Mr. Heffley.
okay. Going down to introduction ordinances, does anyone have a problem with any of them? If we do have to waive any of them, is there any problem with waiving any of them? If not, they'll all be held to the second
See,
reading.
I always prefer to let them go to a second reading
Yeah.
unless there is some.
Yeah, I didn't know, I just knew that bite suit thing, he mentioned something about the guy wanting to get paid because it was supposed to have been last year and all this kind of stuff, so I didn't know about that. But he's gonna check with him, so, in other words, all of them will go to the second
Well,
reading
that's the one
unless
that we had appropriated the money last year.
and stuff. So, if
You
he
know,
comes back, he wants it waived.
We ought to cut that check to him for that suit. That's my opinion.
That's a Brian waive then.
Yeah. Why don't we do ordinance 21 then? Right now we'll plan on waiving that, but all the others we'll hold for a second reading, unless Brian comes back and says the chief needs this, this, or this. Okay, so should be fair. Okay, so now we go to ordinances on second reading. The first one, the ordinance 79, that's the vacate the use portion right away. Use portion right away.
Yeah, good question.
Yes.
On 25, advertising for bids for the water, wastewater, is that something, I mean,
We need to waive that
for a second?
Probably ought to waive that too.
Yeah, you can waive that.
We can waive
That's
that, yeah.
water,
Oh,
wastewater.
Yeah.
That's what Bob
Chemical
brought
stuff.
tonight.
No.
No, that was the one that
Wastewater,
John-
would be John Geller.
Oh,
Yeah.
because it says water, wastewater, street chemicals, material.
Yeah, it's all three.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tonight on finance, but it was done at John's committee. Wasn't it?
I thought,
Oh, no, Bob.
I just brought it
Yeah,
tonight.
Bob
John said
just-
that we need to do it when we
Yeah.
talked today, so I said I'll do a legislative request.
Yeah.
Is it on the
Okay.
agenda?
It's on the
Maybe
agenda.
with Flint, because Flint put it on.
Oh, okay.
She just, yeah, so.
All right,
You
so
can
we'll
waive that.
Yeah, we'll waive that. Okay.
So 25 is what you did tonight. 25 is the same as what you.
Bob is looking at you.
25, 2013 is the same thing that you,
Advertise a bid, water, wastewater,
Yeah.
street, chemicals, and
Yes.
materials.
what you did this evening on your agenda.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Lynn just went ahead and put it on the agenda.
Okay, so we don't have a duplication.
All right,
It's
so
one
waive
and the
those two.
same.
All right, now going back to the vacation of that right of way. Remember, we have to do everything in the positive, so if you don't want it, we still have to make a motion to approve it, a motion is second, and then you can vote no if you don't want to vacate it, or if you want to vacate it, you say yes. You just make sure you know, you don't make the motion to not make, you know what I'm saying?
We vote no on that, right?
If, yeah, if you don't want it, I mean.
Motion
I'm
to
against-
adopt and then vote
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
If you so desire.
Right. Ordinance 13, the budget stabilization fund. Any problems with that? The next 14, the 2013 pickup truck. Any questions or from that?
I'll do that.
Okay, the pickup truck is tomorrow. Oh, budget stabilization, Jeff, you wanna do that one?
Yeah, I'll do that.
And then, the alley, or the street vacation, Cletus, you wanna do that one? The very first one, ordinance 79?
Yeah, number 79.
Yeah, ordinance
Yeah.
79, 2012. Okay, and then, the pickup truck for the water distribution, that'll be you, Mr. Morrow?
Yeah.
And then the next one will be yours also?
Yeah.
Okay, then reports, now under new business, I'll report that we're gonna have a special council meeting on Monday, 25th, March 25th at 5:15 p.m. And that's for the, what exactly is it called? Blackboard Connect?
Yep.
Blackboard. Okay, and then also, I'll report that that lot, the alley vacation or whatever on Grandview is being sent to the planning commission.
You seen Larkin play? Larkin's phenomenal. And plus he can play baseball too.
You win when you play poker?
Always. That's tough. How do I do playing poker?
You're excellent. Leaves with all the money early.
I did the other night.
You did.
That's a first though.
Yeah, I heard people talk about you
like
after you
10
left.
years. Usually there's another agenda item, you know?
2 weeks.
That's why you want it.
Huh?
He wants to waive the police suit.
Okay. The police suit. The bite suit?
The bite
Yeah,
suit?
yeah,
We'll do that.
we're waiving the bite suit, we're waiving 25 also on that list, that's for bidding purposes.
So we got 2 waves.
2 waives, 21, 25's waiving, everything else goes to second reading. Anybody else have any, no reading of bids, no miscellaneous?
Cletus, Jeff, and 3 Dicks.
Anything else? Not, couple minutes.
Well, you had all kind of heat down there.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We gotta stop this.
Oh, goodness. Oh, shoot.
The bite suit
Wait,
is
the
you.
water wastewater, that would be Nick, right?
You gonna do both these ways?
No, the other one.
Brian's going first.